Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentle fans, Pats people and Foxborough friends, we welcome you to the latest and always greatest edition of Six Rings and Football Things, a podcast whose name could very well be in jeopardy, for in less than 2 weeks' time, we may be referring to this as the Seven Rings and Football Things show. Sadly enough, 6 rings, or if you count defensive coordinator work, 8 rings, not enough to get you into the Hall of Fame. More on that in the moment. But the living, bearded, handsome, scally-capped humblebrag to my side, who is buffing one of his 3 Lombardi trophies, is none other than the original mustache himself, the longshoreman, the perfect storm at left tackle, a Patriots Hall of Famer, always ready to be a podcast gamer, and the architect of the Stairway to 7 sweepstakes, and yes, the guy behind the Light Foundation himself. Visit him at mattlight72.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, our special guest, better than all the rest today, Mr. Matt Light is in the house. What up, mustache?
Brother Nick. Hey, listen, by the way, you mentioned the 3 Super Bowls. Check out this Lombardi trophy. There's 1.
Which one is that, by the way?
There's 2. And there's 3, buddy.
Oh, shit. Look what you went and did. You made a single. Oh, my God. Depending on who's coming over, you could like rotate the Lombardi, just be like, oh, you want to talk about 38? Oh, you want to reminisce about 39? How about we just go OG at 36?
I mean, you know what's crazy? Here's one of these things that you don't realize until you get in a moment like this, right? So I had no idea how difficult it was to keep silver untarnished. You know, like you gotta I know this is a first world problem.
I was just gonna say we now welcome you to our new segment, First World Football Problems with Matt Light.
I know it's so stupid to say that, but it does take a lot of rubbing, and I broke it out for you and for this podcast.
Thank you.
And look, it's not something that I don't wear jewelry, I don't do all this stuff, but it is cool to look at it, and it does remind me of where we're at today, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at, kind of the early days and you go back to 01 and you think about the team and the guys that were on that roster and the way that we played the game and there's a lot of, I don't know, I feel a lot of that momentum in this team this year, right? Like not a lot of people were thinking about them the way they're thinking about them now. They were able to overcome, quite a bit, and we got a lot of snow on the ground. It's a throwback era right now, and I'm loving it, man. This is so great.
Yeah, even though there are certainly things that will intrinsic to what you guys accomplished when you shocked the world in 2001 and won the franchise's first Super Bowl, there are things I can see. There's connective tissue between the two as well. Hallmarks and little reminders. Ooh, that reminds me of, or the way that they won in this, and obviously the snowfall. And I think if anything else, even just looking past Mike Vrabel, I think, being a face that bridges the gap between the two in the 25 years, I think it's the way the defense is playing. Quite honestly, like the way this Patriots defense is playing, the way they are hitting so hard, guys that were just cast-offs, I won't say Jags, but rather they were NFL lifers, but they were never household names. The Christian Ellises of the world, the Robert Spillanes, the Jalen Hawkins, 18 months ago, they were probably clinging to life on an NFL roster. Now they are, they're all sorting through their ticket requests to go to Super Bowl 60 and have a chance to live in New England Patriots and NFL immortality.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point. The defense back in the day, man, it's amazing the strength that it gives an offense. A good defense does, just wonders. Obviously, when it comes to field position and getting stops and keeping the game close, that's obvious. But it's more than that. I knew as an offensive lineman that, the defense somehow, some way, they're going to get it done. They're going to put us in a good position. If we faltered a little bit, it seemed like they always stepped up a notch to overcome some of the things that maybe we didn't do right offensively. And then I think as we got later into the year and we started building confidence, we were able to do the same thing for them, and it was real complimentary. And we had a lot of trust in each other. And I think you hear a lot of that in this team, right? Mm-hmm. You see the way they respond to the coaching, and you listen to Coach Vrabel, and you listen to the players and how much respect they have for each other, how much they believe in each other. And as corny as some people may want to make that sound, I think that's the X factor in today's sports, right? You've got you've got a lot of reasons to not value the things that matter most, right? Because of social media, because of the money that starts when they're in high school, right?
Yeah. Can you NIL? Can you imagine people bidding on retaining your services in high school, let alone where you would go to school? There was no transfer portal when you were at Purdue. It was, hey kid, you got lucky to get to go to one of the better schools in the Midwest, if not the NCAA. Tuck it and suck it. Get in there, work hard, and maybe one day you'll be able to do this for a living. Let alone sit in your hunting cabin and show off your try engraved Lombardi.
Hey, listen, hey, forget about the Lombardi. You see this right here, buddy? You see this right here? See this?
Indeed.
See this?
Yep.
That's a skinny Matt Light wearing number 91 catching a pass against Brady's Michigan team when we beat them like 3-0 in Ross-Ade Stadium in 1996, buddy. The only pass they threw, the worst tight end in Big Ten history. That's this guy. And I did catch it for a first down, 17 yards. It's not like I've remembered all the details. I don't want to blow this out of proportion, but what we didn't get was a big fat paycheck,
right?
And look, here's the deal. What makes the game of football so sacred, and what makes it so great, whether you're a player or you're a fan, is this idea that we're playing for something real, right? So you think about high school. You win a high school championship. I mean, you're in the history books forever. You're in that case that's in the hallway across from the principal's office, right?
Yeah, and every time you go back and you get a little older and you think you're still as cool and you walk the halls and people are like, who's this guy? What's he doing here? You get to look at that and you get to relive that. Hell, I got a giant frame photo in the family living room from when I coached my kids' 5-6 flag football team to a town championship. That's probably one of the highlights of my life. And I can't even imagine what it felt like for you in high school, in college, and then ultimately on the grandest stage in the world to do something like that.
Yeah, and then you go to college and you get an opportunity to play in a bowl game and win a Big Ten championship, whatever it may be, the Rose Bowl in our case, right? But today, that's not the case. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the number of these kids that don't play in the biggest game of their lives because they don't want to hurt their chances of making even more money when they go to the National Football League. So, it's one thing to acknowledge it, but the reality is it's undercutting the heart of why these sports are so incredible. When a kid doesn't even care about the biggest moment in the game's history for them at that moment, at that time, why does any of it matter? So I think, look, take Indiana, for example. I have nothing typically good to say about Indiana University. I am a Purdue guy. It's a problem. It's in the same state. It's a huge rival. The old Oaken Bucket, everything that speaks to the history between us. I love that quarterback. I like the team mentality. I love the coach. I'm really proud of those guys. I think, they deserve to win a championship. But let's face it, they had the Mark Cuban effect. They had a lot of money that brought a lot of things in there. So to me, it's a little bit tainted, right? I mean, it's just, it doesn't scream why the game is so incredible, why it's so valuable, why it's so unique. I don't know. I mean, I could go on for days about that. I know that's not why we're here, but I think to get back to the Patriots, that ability to create a culture where the guys, as Vrabel says, he wants them to walk in that door and want to be there. It matters to them how they treat each other, how they speak about one another, how they prepare, how they play the game, how they improve, right? The expectations are really high, but they have a great reason to rally together, right? That's really important, man. And I love that aspect of this team.
Yeah, they are the ultimate team. And he took so many risks with removing captains. One of the things he promised back on January 13th, 2025, all the things like we're going to remove entitlement from the building. We're going to earn the right to be here every day. We want to play complimentary football that beats bad football. We won't be the one that makes the mistakes. Gets rid of previous captains, does away with things, like the longstanding Brewski into Matthew Slater. How do we feel about, like they had, you see the building and you understand at this particular temple, in this church, in this house, what was done and why people come here. But we're going to do things that pay respect to that, but also do things differently because it's a new culture with new players, and they shouldn't have to live within the ideals or the construct of, with all due respect to yourself and Brewski and Randy Moss and Tom Brady and everyone else that came before them. They have to do things their way. And it's amazing to have somebody like Mike, who was a part of that, say, that was amazing, but we have to make a whole new amazing and standard. I want to also remind everyone who's watching live right now on the socials as we record this latest edition of Six Rings and Football Things. Our guest extraordinaire, of course, is the one, the only super Belichick fan himself, Matt Light. Visit mattlight72.com to find out more about the amazing work the Light Foundation does. But also, folks, I'm going to plug it now. I'm going to plug it again. I'll be all over it on the socials. Matt, just like he ran a few months ago in the takeover in Tampa, is running the ultimate Super Bowl. I can say it because I'm not getting paid, nor are you, for this anyway. You're just doing this out of the kindness of your heart and your generosity of manly spirit. You're going to get a chance to go to the big game, everybody. Right now, if you visit mattlight72.com, or you could actually just go directly to stairway7.org, you have a chance to enter a sweepstakes. $10 gets you 10 entries. The more you throw in, the more entries you get in the pile. And then one lucky fan is going to get a chance next week to have their name pulled, get a call from the beautifully bass voice Matt Light himself. And here's what you could win. Get this. 2 tickets to Super Bowl 60 to see the Patriots take on the Seahawks in a rematch of Super Bowl 49 at Levi's Stadium, which is inconveniently located about 40 miles outside San Francisco for no good reason. 2 passes. Okay, this is what got me hot and bothered in the donkey sauce right here, having had a chance to attend one of these and hang out once or twice, brag, with Guy Fieri, the coolest dude on planet Earth. 2 passes to Guy Fieri's Flavortown tailgate at the Cow Palace Arena. Gates open at 11:30. 3 nights overnight accommodations, dinner the night before with Matt Light and Steve DiFilippo from Davio's restaurant. Get out. 2 tickets to the Patriots after party. Oh my God. 2 autographed jerseys and a $2,000 stipend for transportation to and fro wherever you happen to live in Patriots Nation to the West Coast. I mean, Matt, and all you have to do, once again, you just have to visit stairway7.org. That's stairway7.org for your chance to win. Dude, I mean, that is literally I have seen sweepstakes and contests and everything else where people have gotten a chance to like go to the big game, whatever. Like, this is beyond winning both showcase showdowns on The Price is Right. This is Powerball. This is this is hitting the lottery, and this is just waking up and finding oil in the backyard if you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah, and listen, I got to tell you, I got a phone call from Steve DiFilippo, the man, the myth behind Davio's, and he said, "Hey, man," he goes, "they win this AFC Championship game, we should do another one of these big Super Bowl sweepstakes." And he and I have teamed up on so many things. Such a great guy. I mean, he's involved in so much, but it mattered to him that we do something to impact the lives of others. And look, he's been a big part of RBTV. That's the Ron Burton Training Village. Mm-hmm. And I've been privy to that organization since the day I arrived here in New England, not just because of the history that Ron has as the first pick and a player and they got the Ron Burton Community Service Award. I mean, that's been around for a long time, but I got to meet Ron, and he grew up just a few miles south of me in the great state of Ohio. He opened an outdoor camp for kids, and he's, their family's still doing it today. And I remember just relating to him so much and the work that he was doing and saying, well, hey, it's great, Ron. I'm doing the same thing in Greenville, Ohio, and we're bringing kids from around the country. So long-winded way of saying, man, this is an unbelievable package. And that Guy Fieri, that tailgate is phenomenal. As
Awesome.
much fun as you can have. The game will be amazing. You got unbelievable accommodations, right? I think it's actually the NFC hotel. And then the post game party is going to be ridiculous too. But all that said, the impact it'll have on the Light Foundation, the kids we serve, what it does to our staff. I mean, it just rejuvenates everyone because this is such a win. And here's the deal, right? And for RBTV, if you go ahead and buy a chance, right, $10, and if you win, I mean, forget about it. You'll be talking about this for the rest of your life. But if you don't, that $10, I'll promise you, will make an impact in the kids we serve. So, hey, man, I think this is going to be a big one. I can't thank you and the rest of Patriot Nation enough because these things have been huge.
Yeah, here's a comment coming through from one of our regulars watching live on YouTube as we record the pod, Mad. I love Guy Fieri. I don't know why people don't like him. In addition to just being a super fun guy to hang out with and a very good cook, I know, some of the crazy recipes and the frosted tips and the brash outward forward facing persona can rub some people the wrong way. Let's not forget, in terms of like people that do great work for the sake of benefiting other people like yourself, and they don't do it for a reward or for some glory and glee. They do it because it fills their heart with joy as they, try to live their one singular best life. When terrible things happen in a lot of places, one of the first people to fly in, set up camp, reach into his own very deep pockets, thanks to the Food Network and Hearst Media, one of the first people to reach into his own pockets is Guy Fieri, to cook for first responders, to people that have lost their homes to floods, mudslides, wildfires, and whatnot. No, that's not the name of his new cooking show, Diners, Driving the Dive, Floods, Mudslides, Wildfires, with Guy Fieri and Matt Light. I mean, he just does great stuff because he likes doing it as well. And I'm not surprised that you guys are linking up to do what you guys do as well. That's going to be an incredible day. Again, stairway7.org for your chance to win. Throw in how you don't throw in pizza and beer money, as they like to say in the gambling world, when you're betting on a prop, like maybe one less anytime touchdown wager, one more chance to win the tickets or support the great work of the Light Foundation. Okay. So, as far as I know how you feel about this team, how improbable their run is, and what a wild, unpredictable season it's been, just like yours was back in 2001. I see a lot of the connective tissue there as well, Matt. What kind of chance do you give the Patriots in Super Bowl 60 in a season where they've just been, every week someone's looking for a new reason to say the wheels are going to come off Drake May. Mike Vrabel's magic carpet ride will end eventually, or like these guys you can't have Bo Nix get hurt, or the weather, suddenly magically the Belichick weather machine can't get turned on at halftime. Like, does this continue all the way through a Super Bowl 60 win? And how tough are the Seahawks going to be?
I mean, the Seahawks are a great team. There's no doubt about that. They've got a lot of playmakers, and by the way, they got a lot of guys that are playing with juice, man. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. That NFC Championship game, it looked as if a number of their players, their special, their special teams guys were flying around. The guys, their skilled players, were flying around. I mean, at a level that you expect in the playoffs, but is really hard to do when you've had an entire season under your belt and guys been getting the snot kicked out of them. It was almost as if they had a rest and then came out on fire in certain areas. The way they ran, the aggressive nature at which they got in and out of their cuts. I mean, it was impressive, a number of these guys. And you look at that and you say to yourself, oof, that's going to be a really hard team to beat. Well, yeah, should be. They should be the best competition you faced all year, right? In many respects, they've earned the right to be in this game. But hey, on the flip side, our boys have earned the right too. And I've been watching some of this film and checking out the All 22, and what I see up front lends me to believe that offensively, for the Patriots, one of the best ways that you can go and attack this team is just put some of your bigs out there, line up, and just run downhill. We've got two incredible backs, right? We've got guys that have good vision. We know the running game can get going. I would love to see that running game get going. I know they're going to be susceptible to what Josh can come up with. scheme-wise in the passing game. There's no doubt they can make some plays there. I would love to see them major in the run game. Of course, that's an offensive lineman's dream. Just run the ball every single play. But here's the caveat. I think they have the ability to run some sub runs and do really well with their sub run game too. They don't have to bring the bigs in and go heavy personnel. I think they can get a lot done on the ground out of that sub package. And once that gets going, I think sky's the limit for Josh in that offense. You know, they got playmakers, they got the ability to do it. If they can pull that off and get that run game going, it's going to be great. Defensively, there's no doubt in my mind that they can force, you know, Darnold into making some bad throws. They can take advantage of things. They've been doing it all season long. I mean, can you count out this defense? Absolutely not. They're going to rise to the occasion. And I think the tougher it gets, the better both of these sides of the ball are going to play. That's one of the things I really like about this team. You know, Drake hasn't had the best, you know, postseason. There have been a number of things that I know that when he watches the film, he wants back. There's never been a quit. Even in the moments where you're like, oh gosh, this young guy, big stage, big moment. How's this going to affect him?
Get rid of it. 5 like that clock. Will Campbell and Drake May got it 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi. Like you can't hold the ball like that against some of these these defensive ends that look like starving dogs that have just been released from a cage.
Right. And you know, look, there's things like that come only with experience and years of doing it and seeing it and making those decisions. You're going to have some of those things. I mean, look, a rookie left tackle is going to get beat. Trust me. A rookie left tackle.
Do you know anything about this whole notion of a Patriots team with a second-year quarterback and a spry, opportunistic, hard-hitting defense with a rookie left tackle on a semi-suspect offensive line? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, but he was a first-round pick.
Oh,
you know,
shit,
I mean,
that's right. Yeah,
my arms are longer though.
That's funny.
Hey, I think he's honestly. I think if you took away the injury, I think you would see a different player. Obviously, you know that it's so difficult to be on a roll, learning week to week. You know, correcting mistakes, seeing what the competition's like in the NFL, getting a really good taste, and then have it all shut down, and you're going into the stadium and you're going into treatment and you're watching all your teammates prepare and play. And you feel like you're worthless. You feel like you're just I call it being tits on a boar hog. Okay, you're useless, right?
Yeah, my old man taught me that one when I was growing up.
So I just think that, you know, his journey, man, it's been tough. And again, hey, guess what happened to this kid? You know, I had an injury in my rookie year. You know, missed a little bit of time, had to come back, wore a giant brace. It was freaking terrible. There's no excuses though. And he's not going to make excuses. And he takes it personal and he's learning as he goes and he'll continue to learn. But I think he's a really good player. I think he's got a great future. And what I like most is that he does take it personal. It matters to him the way he plays the game and what he brings to the team. That's important.
Yeah. You know, whether it's not about, I would say this, the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl for some can be anxiety inducing. Obviously there's a lot of glitz, glamour, distractions to which you could speak of. Although I know you guys only had the 1 week delay, not the 2 weeks, because there was, following the tragic events of September 11th, a bit of a compressed schedule and season. But now his leg could heal up a little more. Drake and the shoulder issue that he's not going to address at all, regardless of whatever it says on the injury report. This will benefit them all. And if there's anyone who's going to get them used to or familiarized with the crazy schedule, it's going to be your buddy, head coach Mike Vrabel. Matt, before we go, I just wanted to take a quick moment. I just planned on talking about the foundation, your incredible sweepstakes. Once again, everyone, that is stairway-to-7.org. If you would like a chance to win a trip to the Super Bowl, benefit the Light Foundation, and have the experience of a lifetime with the phone call of a lifetime, of course, coming from Matt Light. And you get to have dinner with Matt and Steve. Will the lovely young Miss Susie Light be out there with you as well? Or is this just a dude's weekend?
You know what? Susie is going to be holding down the fort here in Rhode Island. But I am so fired up because my 12-year-old daughter, our youngest, is going to
Mhm.
go with me. She's never experienced anything like.
Oh, wow.
So, she was the only one of 4 kids that wasn't around for the football era, so to speak. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for her.
She's like a lot of children in New England. Like this might be her selective memories first Super Bowl. The poor thing to think that she's gone all to
That's right.
10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds that just don't have any memory of the Patriots hoisting Lombardi. Oh, God love her. But before we go, I just wanted this obviously popped up last night, and it's now the topic that is dominating the entirety, even with the Super Bowl run-up of the sports news cycle. Hell, it's made national, if not international news. Your coach, the legend Bill Belichick, snubbed, denied he will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, a man who very well knows more about or more that takes place inside and who is actually enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I've already wasted so much time and tape, and I'm going to go to war again today on the radio show with anyone who thinks that he's not worthy or that this was justified or merited. But I just wanted to give you a big, broad platform to air your feelings or thoughts about the Hall's or the voters' decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, I look at things like this differently now, right? My immediate reaction a few years ago would have been to say all the things that you're listening to if you turned on any outlet in the world, basically this morning, right? And they're saying all the things that people feel, but the reality is this, right? When it's this blatant, when it's this obvious, what I turn to now is that it's intentional. They want us to talk about this ad nauseum. They want us to stew over this. They want this to be the story. That has to be the only reason that this happened, is for this moment to be happening right now. Think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not idiots. They're really good at what they do. They understand how to get people more involved. And look, sometimes that old saying that all press is good press, right? Even negative press can be helpful, or whatever that little thing is about when people are talking about you. That's a good thing, even if it's not the greatest thing. You have the ability to control the narrative, whatever it is, blah blah blah. They want us to be talking about this because the obvious discussion is that Bill Belichick is never going to be known as the guy who shouldn't be able to get in whenever he wants to get in. I mean, well, what are we talking about? And so, how hard is it to put the messaging out there in a way that would make us all feel better? It'd be real simple, but there's no explanation for why we're in this position or why he's in this position. I think it's all ridiculous and could care less about, trying to go over all the different, ins and outs of how it got to be this way. They wanted it to be this way, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, if I would hate to think that it's either a Bill Polian or some other jealous owner, general manager, etc., jealousy charge, or now's our chance to get our revenge for all the times Bill wasn't nice to us, or Bill found a loophole in the rules, or Bill's team beat mine just when we thought it was our time for glory, and the Patriots and beautiful Tom Brady and the second round left tackle from Purdue hogged the spotlight from us once again. Like jealousy can be a bitch, Matt. Like jealousy is a hell of an ex-lover. And I to think that these people would now take time to slap him on the wrist and try to shame him. Like you're supposed to put aside those feelings. You're supposed to not let all that emotion get into the equation. You're supposed to just recognize and acknowledge the greatness. Like no coach has won more than he has. No coach has the significant records and achievements. And even if you do loathe the very sight of him or the memory of him walking away, having defeated you once again, you have to acknowledge his accomplishments and what he meant to the league that he's helped define for 25 years.
Well, listen, I mean, but again, that's exactly why they did this, because they're going to get everybody talking about, how great he is, because he was was as good as it gets. And you're going to have all these different sides, and they're going to bring up the different theories of jealousy or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, talk about those for the next 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're all leading to the same outcome.
Yep.
as good as it's ever been. It's a no-brainer, right? I mean,
Yep.
again, this is exactly what they want. And hey, good. If it makes for great content, if it gets fans engaged, if it gives people a reason to rally around the team. Look, I would say that it was probably led more internally from Patriot Nation than anywhere else. Believe it or not. I'm not saying I have any inside information. I'm just telling you, I know how the world works. I know why things get done, and they're not done haphazardly.
No,
Things
not.
just don't happen. So trust me when I tell you that they want us to be talking about all this stuff. It'll get Patriot Nation on fire. It'll rally us around a common, theme. And in the end, that guy is going to have his place in the hall, and it'll be filled with all of the reasons that we already know. We
Mhm.
don't need another year. We don't need to discuss it. We don't need to do any of this, but we're going to do it. And here we go. Let's go, baby.
Legitimately, I would just like to say to everyone who, there's that theory. It was in the Malcolm Gladwell book, The Tipping Point. About the famous story in the 1970s where the girl is screaming in the alley and she's being assaulted and nobody helps her because everyone else listening says, "Oh, someone else will make the phone call." There very well could, to the police, and nobody did. There very well could be a case of a lot of people were like, "Oh, of course Belichick's going to get in. Let me vote for L.C. Greenwood or Robert Kraft or whoever else." That could well be in play. Like I said, it could be the jealousy thing. Whatever it was, and this is going to obviously revamp and redefine the entire hall process because it is just covered in rotten vegetables, ignominy, and shame today. I'll just say this. One, congratulations, because you have somehow made Bill Belichick a sympathetic figure in the eyes of the majority of the sports world today. And two, this is the most divided I remember the United States, if not planet Earth. And you have unified us together in saying that Bill Belichick got screwed. So, Matt, you understand the game all too well, and I'm with you 100%. There are people inside that had a greater purpose for this. Whatever that was, they can go F themselves because I wanted Bill Belichick to get enshrined this summer. But that's okay. I'll just plan my trip next time. And if anyone who says Deflategate or Spygate was part of it, and that's why you keep Tom Brady out the first time, then the hall burns like the Jedi Temple. And I'll just leave it at that, man. All right. Once again, folks, visit stairwayto7.org. $10 gets you 10 entries. The more you throw in, the more, like, let's say $100 donation gets you 130 entries. $50 donation, 65 entries to win. Do you do like a bingo ball? Is it like a randomizer? Do you put them all in a room and you swim in it for a while, like Indecent Proposal style, and then you pluck one paper?
Yeah, it's actually a really cool thing, man. And I love when it finally pops up and then we go check the database and we put a name to a number, and it's so cool. But here's what I would say to end this. And God love you, brother. I know it's going to be a crazy week and a half for you and
That's
everyone
fun,
else
man.
in the media realm. And there's going to be some really cool stories, I feel like, as we get closer and closer to this thing. But one of the coolest things that happens with these over the years is that I get the background story, and I remember we did the last Super Bowl package we auctioned off, and I'm talking to the winner, and they said, "You know what? I literally heard it like 3 times, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put $100 on it or whatever it was, right?" And he goes, "I've never watched a Patriot game in my life. I did it for my nephew," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I'm sending my nephew," and I'm like, that really
Wow.
kind of encapsulates why these things are so interesting because just think of the generosity of people, man. I'm blown away. People work really hard for what they get, and when you see someone who isn't making 100,000 a year, they're pulling in the minimum required to go out and earn it every single day, and it's tight, everything's tight in today's world, everything's tight, but somehow those are the very people who do the most with the least. And when you can call one of those people, if that's the case, but
Mm-hmm.
when you realize the power that creates and the awesomeness, and that's what I reflect back on, man. I mean, all these incredible moments, man. My career, so blessed to play with the guys I played with, but man, almost 25 years of serving kids through the Light Foundation, and the people I've met, the network it's created, the fun we've gotten to have, and to hear stories like, I don't even watch football. I got it from my nephew. You're like, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. People may look at it and be like, oh, it must be nice. Matt Light, Super Bowls made all that money. No, hard work is always the answer. Hard work got you from high school to college. Hard work got you from college to the NFL, up on the podium. And then ultimately hard work helped establish this foundation to make a difference in people's lives, make dreams come true, and do, like I said earlier, be a joy junkie and share in those moments and make them happen for people. So good on you, brother. I'll be throwing money in, and if I win, I won't be able to go anyways because I got to do a freaking 3-hour post-game radio show from my bunker here in New England. So, but I would be more than happy to share in that joy with somebody as well. Once again, stairway7.org to enter the Light Foundation's incredible Super Bowl 60 sweepstakes, where you and a friend or maybe your uncle who doesn't watch football and his nephew get a chance to go see the Patriots take on the Seahawks in a rematch of one of the greatest Super Bowls in history. For the Light Man, the Mustache, and everyone involved at Odyssey 2400 Sports and WEEI, this is your old pal Nick Fitzy Stevens, the original Misfit toy and a Patriots super fan, and Drake May stand forevermore, saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. So much more great stuff to come. Stairway to 7.org. And as always, people, go Pats.